Hi Tubies, it's Johnny. Thanks for joining me. In the video that follows, I've put together a tutorial about the creation of the Polynesian diamond lashing, which I hope you find interesting. Description of it, or the use of the diamond lashing, it comes into its own if you need to lash a post to a beam in a sort of T configuration. It's incredibly strong and durable lashing, and it has got a lot of damage redundancy in it as well. A fantastic lashing. Before we get on with the video, I would like to issue an apology. The construction of the lashing comes in 3 stages. There's the first stage, which is the top lashing, and then the second 2 stages are the left and right frapping stages. Now, I've done 2 options in the frapping stages, and in the video of the second option, a little bit of it was slightly off camera shot, only just, and it rectifies quite quickly. In my defence, I was sitting beneath 3 tripods, 2 lights and a camera, so I'm trying to work the rope in between to do the frapping whilst sitting in between 9 tripod legs, and I couldn't see the monitor, so I hope you bear with me on that one and forgive me my sins. And I'll now roll into the tutorial. Thank you. I have anchored one end of my line down with sufficient left over, hopefully to enable me to do the final frapping when we're finished. So part 1 is going to be just doing the diamond lashing, and part 2 of this will be showing you how to do the frapping part. So, I have, as I said, anchored off this. I've passed it 1 time through the hole in the post. I'm now going to make a crossing turn away from me to the far side. I go back through the hole, and remember, this is a demonstration knot. In action, if you're putting an awfully large amount of load to pre-stretch this line and to give the lashing some serious bite. So I've gone through on the far side, come up over the top, get my cross nicely in the middle, and again I'm coming down on the near side. So the first thing you need to know is, and this is crucial, you've got a 50-50 chance of stuffing it up at this point. What we need to do now is take all the line through, and then we have to know how to bring it back up again. If we get this wrong, like I say, we are going to be unpicking it in a little while. So we have 2 choices. We can come up on this side, or we can come up on this side. I've stuffed this up quite a few times, so I can tell you that opposite to the side we put in, we take it to the furthest side. So that is what I've done, and then from there we take it over the top and just chase it parallel to the other line. Absolutely no crossing. A crossing at this point would stuff you up again. Just be quite patient with the amount of tail you have to pull through. Again, this should be under tension, huge amount of tension. I'll show you that later on. And then we bring it up parallel to the line that's already there. Now, second thing you need to know, we're now on our finishing our second turn, and from here a pattern is going to emerge, and the pattern you need to observe is this. On the underside, all of these lines on the far side will be parallel. On the near side, they will all have a cross. So we're going to go from this side, but not come up this side parallel, we're going to come up the opposite side. Again, if we don't do that, we're doomed. So, just to clarify this, we've tightened, come up here, gone parallel at this point, but instead of coming out parallel, we're going to cross over. Now we can check whether or not we are correct at this point. and we will be making this observation every time we do a turn on the knot from this point on. Now, I'm just going to hold that there a moment. If you notice on the top where the crossing turns are, I hope you can see this. I have this line here. I have one cord that goes over it and one cord that goes under it. So that's ugly, it's an odd thing. On this line here, I have the line that goes under and two lines pass over. This is the pattern we're looking for. An even pattern in the lines we are about to cross. That is correct. That, regardless of the cross in the bottom, would be ugly. So, by seeing that I've gone over the parallel pair, I now know that I'm on track. So all we do is follow it round, and probably at this point I shall fast forward the video, but we'll see. Plenty of room for me to make errors yet. I wouldn't want to miss those. Parallel and parallel, and when I come up, observe the pattern, it's even. There's one under, there's two over. If we look at the pattern on the other side, there's two under, one over. If we were on that side, we'd be wrong. On this side, we are nice. And because it's even, what's going to happen is our diamond knot will start to emerge nice and neatly. So again, I've come down here, I'm on the lower edge, so I'm going to bring it up to the top edge. Now if I come up here, we should now find that this side is even. I hope again we can see that. I'm just checking on the monitor. Yeah, we have one under and two over, so we are on the right course. And just to check, if we came up the wrong side, it's one over, two under, ugly, not even. So, parallel, just run it down, parallel underneath, pull the gash through, follow the line up. I'm doing this blind, but again, if we check, this is ugly, and if that's in shot, let's just check the shot, and again this is even. I've got over, under, under, over, so that is symmetrical and gorgeous. I've got in on the top, so I come out on the bottom, which crosses the line, up the side, and again nice and even, over, under, under, over, nice, parallel, and parallel to the other side, and hopefully you're now getting used to seeing this even symmetrical shape here, and you're looking now at our diamond pattern evolving. Not only is it good looking, it is incredibly strong and has a lot of damage redundancy as well. So I've gone in at the bottom, I come out at the top. I have a nice, I'm going to have to take my word for it here, over, under, 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 over, lay down my new line, symmetrical and beautiful, and just pardon me a moment, so many cords here, it's trying to find which one to lay against. And then underneath, over the top, and I'm going to take quick stock here. Actually I'm not, sorry. I'm going to go through one more time. I'm going to go through the motions of crossing it, which would be to there, but for this I'm just going to come down and tie it off. Excuse the back of my head. I've just tied that off for convenience so we can stop and have a look. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We happen to have 6 wraps on each leg, so it's nice and symmetrical. It's nice to be symmetrical. It's good. It's neat and tidy. Makes your seamanship look good. But technically, as a lashing, it doesn't really matter if you've got 6 on one side and 7 on the other. That's down to you. The amount of lashings you put on is dictated by the size of the beam, the size of the post and the size of the line you're using. I'll come back to the line later. But essentially I think 6 is a really good number. I've seen them with 7 and I've seen them with different numbers on each leg. So it's down to personal choice how you use it. I can't say which is absolutely the Polynesian way or not, but that's the basis of the lashing. I'll cut in a moment and then I'll come back and show you how to do the frapping sides. The videography on the frapping will be difficult. Thank you. That's just a little postscript to the lashing part of the video. I noticed on examination of my lashing, sorry I didn't video this, but I had actually come up this side with my last lashing and I needed to come up this side. I didn't notice until I pulled it forward, and this line, you're not going to see that. I'll spin the whole thing around, but basically this last line here I had taken over here. It was easily fixed. Apology, I didn't point it out. I didn't notice it when I was videoing it. Right, hopefully you can see that. Just to orient you, I've tipped the whole thing upside down. We're now looking into the bottom of the hole, and if you notice on the left hand side all the lines are parallel. On the right hand side each one of them crosses over. That was what I was point I was trying to make to you earlier, and hopefully that clarifies what's going on inside the hole in the post. If you're doing this live on a real boat, you're probably going to have a much smaller hole than this, so it's good to see in such detail so you understand what's happening. Right, in order to demonstrate the frapping part, I've laid the piece over on its side so we can get a better look at it, and off camera I'm just undoing the line that I'd secured earlier. Hopefully you can see that, that's where it's supposed to run. Now the frapping is going to crisscross backwards and forwards here in a figure of 8. You'll see this develop as we go along. Now there are 2 ways you can consider doing it. We can take the line up here and then bring our figure of 8s downwards, and this is the way I was shown, or we can start at the bottom and work our way up. I'm going to attempt to do it from the top and stay true to how I was shown. Right, I'm going to be needing the assistance of a shuttle, just something to pull the line through with. And the way I was shown to do this was come from the outside to the inside, grab the end of the line, pull it through, and from there we begin a series of figure of 8s. I may have just made that bit up there, and I won't do that. Not quite sure how this should look. Now once we start gathering it in, it is going to start getting a little bit rucked up, especially when we're putting a great deal of load on to pre-stretch the line. So shuttle through, we've got the end, pull it through, and we're now starting to work down with our figure of 8. So shuttle through, tweak it out. And again, this is where we would put a great deal of load on that line to take out the stretch. And this is where we discover that even this shuttle is not thin enough. Helped if I'd have got hold of the right end of the rope. Trying to keep my lashing tidy, well, as tidy as can be done under the circumstances. Given the size dynamics that I'm working with here, this is probably going to be my last one, but on a larger piece you'd probably do at least 6 turns at either side. And of course the more you have, the more stretch you get out, the tighter you get the whole piece in, and the more security you get to your lashing. Now, I've done this one starting from the top and working down. The finish is quite basic. All I'm going to do is a figure of 8 knot, and I shall tie it nice and closely up here. And then I shall work it as tightly as I can to the end. And at this stage, if I was finishing the knot, I would do a hot cut there, melt the end over so it won't unravel, and then I just push it in very hard and conceal it underneath. And you'll appreciate when you put a lot of strength behind it, it's very difficult to do, but once it's in there, there's no chance it's going to pop out. Lashing like this will last, and I've been told these lashings will last 10 years. Absolutely solid. What I'm going to do now is flip it over, and I will declare this now. This is possibly an unapproved variation, but what I shall do here is I shall attempt to tie from the bottom and work upwards. Same principle. notice that I've now got, I'm on my way to getting 4 turns in, and I just feel that I can get it tighter going from the bottom to the top. I could probably fit in another pair. We'll give it a go. I haven't put a great deal of load on these lines, I haven't tightened them up too hard, so compared to the other side I still seem to be able to obtain more tightness quite easily going from the bottom up to the top. I've got 5 in each side, the other side I believe I only had 3 in. Could probably squeeze another 2 in, I'm not going to, been at this for hours. So again, same finish, figure of 8, and then just dress it up. Oh, I've collapsed it, it looks horrible. Just dress it up and continue to push it up. So you take all the slack out of it. It's not a good example, I've got some of the slack out, and then you push it up underneath the straps, under the actual lashing itself. So just for reference, this is the front aspect of the Polynesian diamond lashing. It's got 6 strands on the left, 6 strands on the right. On the left hand side we have 3 pairs of frapping turns which started from the top and went down. On the right hand side we have 6 pairs, oh sorry, beg your pardon, 5 pairs of frapping turns which started at the bottom and worked up. You can see on the left hand side, just here, it's quite neat and tidy when we started from the top and went down, and when we went from the bottom up it's gone quite scruffy. I'm not sure if I could improve that. That's worth bearing in mind if you're tying your own. I hope you found the tutorial informative, and I hope it was a clear enough presentation to help you learn how to do the Polynesian diamond lashing. I'm very open to constructive criticism. If you found that I could have done it better, or I could have done it worse, I'm pretty sure I could have. I really do appreciate any constructive criticism you might be kind enough to send my way, and also like any encouragement as to whether or not you want me to proceed to do this type of tutorial. There are quite a few that I've got in mind for various knots and things. So if you'd like to do the standard thing and award me the YouTube tick and sub, that would be fantastic. That would give me an indication that you wanted me to continue, and I'll look forward to seeing your comments. So this is Johnny for Free Radical. See you next time. Cheers.